And we're back with Ben Winikoff from EMP Law. He's taking your questions about employment law ahead of For All Statewide Service Day, which is on Friday. All right, these are the questions that we're getting text in. This first question says, if you have an accident on the job and they let you go, but you're under a doctor's care, do they still have to keep you on their insurance?
Yes, if you have a workplace accident and workers' compensation insurance is providing those benefits, then you're still eligible for those workers' compensation benefits, even if they end your employment.
And if you're having problems with that, you should probably call an attorney?
You should call a workers' compensation attorney, absolutely.
Okay, and that's what you're looking for is workers' compensation in that specific instance. Okay, this next question is, can your employer fire you for taking too much sick time?
So we have the Family Medical Leave Act that entitles employees for up to 12 weeks of unpaid leave for a serious illness. So my question, so the first question to you would be, have you exhausted your 12 weeks of family medical leave? Because you have a federal protection that entitles you to 12 weeks of unpaid time off, so long as your employer is of a certain size.
What happens if this is one of those instances where they have like a lot of doctor's appointments and they have to be gone like 2 or 3 times a week? They're gone for an hour or 2 at the doctor's office. Can they fire you for taking that kind of time off?
So it depends on whether or not it's a serious medical condition or not, as to whether or not you fall under the Family Medical Leave Act. But the Family Medical Leave Act is designed to cover intermittent leave. So it doesn't have to be 12 consecutive weeks. If you have intermittent leave, if you're only taking a few days off a month, that can still qualify as protected under the Family Medical Leave Act.
Would you tell people to talk to their HR person first, or?
Absolutely. Employers can have different policies and procedures for how you're supposed to notify your employer how you're taking FMLA leave. So certainly have that conversation with your employer so you can get the appropriate forms you need to put them on notice.
All right, this question is, can my boss make me quarantine longer than the CDC recommends?
So again, your boss can generally set any conditions of employment so long as they violate one of those statutes. I mean, I guess my only concern would be why he or she's having you do that. If it's based on some kind of perception of a disability, right? Because he believes someone with COVID has a disability, there may be some type of disability discrimination. But it's certainly something I would encourage you to reach out to an employment law attorney about to get more information.
This person's asking, can your boss cut your pay for no reason?
As long as it is prospective. Your boss cannot retroactively reduce your wages. So if he promises you a certain hourly rate, he can't change it. He can't change it after you've worked those hours. But again, your boss can prospectively reduce your wages going forward, so long as it is in writing and some other conditions are satisfied.
So they do need to put it in writing if they are going to change your pay?
If they're going to reduce your pay, it needs to be in writing.
Does it have to be like, do they have to give you 30 days notice or 2 weeks notice or just a day's notice?
Just before you work, but before your next shift, so that you know that if you're going to continue to accept their offer of employment, you know what that rate of pay is.
All right, this person's asking, are there any benefits that my boss is required to provide?
So again, employment benefits traditionally are going to fall under employment at will. All right, so that the general rule is there's no required benefits, and instead your right as an employee is to kind of shop around amongst employers and go and work for companies that voluntarily provide you benefits.
All right, we've got just about a minute. What if my boss won't reconcile a mistake that's on my paycheck?
Again, it depends. If your boss is withholding wages for you and you've earned those wages, then that can be the basis for a potential wage and hour complaint, right? They've got to pay you all earned wages, and that's something that you can take up with the North Carolina Department of Labor.
All right, so you'd call North Carolina Department of Labor first before you went anywhere else. Okay, thank you so much for your time, and I know you're going to give your time on Friday. Speaking of which, we want to make sure that you have the number for All Service Day. You have the times as well. And let's see, I don't know if we can take down all that last part there. It's 336-355, and it's 6262. That is the number for Friday. It is free information, talking to a lawyer one-on-one on Friday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m.